Hey, robotics class. Last remote assignment, you guys constructed a circuit with a lesson using a distance sensor. Some of you guys had success, some of you didn't. It was very difficult, challenging. We're going to go over it in class, so don't feel bad as long as you gave it a shot. That's okay. But for today, for your next two remote assignments, you guys are going to be playing around with what a distance sensor can do. And I think my lesson is going to be a little bit easier than the lesson that Tinkercad had you do, or their demo lesson. So you're going to log into Tinkercad and you're going to say circuits and create a new circuit. And then when it loads, what's familiar to us is these basic components where you have Arduinos and breadboards and basic stuff. They have some pre-built Arduino circuits. So let's stand on the shoulder of giants and use that as one of our starting points. I want to scroll down until I find the cool ultrasonic rangefinder. Again, and what that is just a distance sensor. So I'm going to click that and drag it out. Maybe, there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my basic components. Okay. So let's see now our code. If I expand this out a little bit so I can zoom in a little bit more. What is this going to do? Oh, I don't know. It's going to read something in inches and centimeters, and then it's going to print. Oh, okay, so we know this from before. It's going to do a reading as a sensor, and then it's going to record the reading. And how we look at that recording is if I click on the serial monitor. So now if so that's where it's going to print to. That's the Arduino's memory. So if I start my simulation, I didn't write any code yet. I'm getting some numbers in the serial monitor, so it's recording some information. Now, I like Tinkercad because it gives us a visual simulation. If I click on that rangefinder, as I'm simulating, I can see the position where it's detecting a distance away. I have it at 44.7 inches, 113.4 centimeters. So it's not to scale, but you get a gist. When I bring that dot in closer, the serial monitor is registering another number, and it is printing to the Arduino, so it's recording that information. Okay, now let's play around and do something cool with what this circuit can already do. I'm going to grab a light and drag it over. I'm not using a breadboard because it's going to be a really simple circuit where I don't need more pins. And I'm going to drag one end of the light to the ground, the GND, and the other leg I'm going to drag down to the pin 13. Why I'm using those is that is linked to the built-in light. So it's just going to be easier for me to code later on. I don't have to select what pin number it is. Let's go to the code. Let's minimize my serial monitor just because I have more room now. Okay, I want this to read that information and then use it. And how I need to do that is use a statement called an if-then control statement. And I'm actually going to use an if-then-else statement. So what it'll mean is if this happens, then you should have this happen. If I have an if-then-else, it's if this happens, then this should happen. And if that doesn't happen, then do this. So it's kind of like your decider in the code. And what we're going to use to judge when we want something to happen or not is this variable that was defined by reading the distance in inches or centimeters away from something. And you can read my train of thought, but what I want to have happen is this light to turn on if I get close to a certain distance or not. So follow along with me. I'm going to go to the control, and I'm going to go down and find an if, then, else statement. And I'm going to add that to the bottom of this code. Now I have a little bracket that looks like a weird pointy shape. I'm going to use a math function to judge the distance. In my math function, I'm going to have the one that looks like a 1 less than 1. And I'm going to drag that and put it in between the if and the then. Those circles are where I need to add something that I'm measuring before, or a variable, something that I'm referring to. I'm going to go to my light purple or magenta variables, and we're in America, so I'm going to use the inches variable, even though it's measuring in both. So I'm going to say if inches are less than, and I know from my previous thing, if I leave it at less than 1, my distance sensor actually doesn't read that close. So I need to make that a little bit bigger. I'm going to say less than 10. If it's less than 10, then I want it to do something. Let's have it turn this LED light on. So I'm going to go and use an output. And I'm going to say set built-in LED light to high. Else, so if inches are less than 10, then turn the light on. Else, meaning if it's not less than 10, then set built-in LED light to low or off. Let's run this simulation. I can look at my serial monitor and I can click on this little distance sensor as a reference. So right now I'm at 82.6 inches away. The light is off. I'm doing good so far. Let's close this dot in. Getting really close. 15 inches, still off. I'm still doing good. 9 inches. Oh, my light turns on. I'm very happy. Now let's go back. So pretend maybe we turned our wheels backwards in reverse. Light goes off because it's above 10 inches. Give yourself a high five if you got this far. This is what you guys need to have accomplished. Now the last little step is you should give it a name, because this is something that you actually created you're going to want to hang on to. And we'll say distance sensor with light. And I can hit enter. Now instead of its weird name, it's named something pretty nice. When you're done with this, I'm putting this on Edpuzzle so I can see that you watched it. You guys need to hit submit on the classroom so you have it done, and then I know that I can go check your Tinkercad assignment to make sure you had success. 2-day assignment. Best of luck. I'll see what you have next live in-person class.